Hey everybody, we're back to our college planning series, and today we're going to talk about something really important. This is going to be something that you can do as early as you know that what your prospective major is going to be. If you are undecided, you can do this either way. But today we're going to talk about coming up with your preliminary college list. This may not be the college list that you end up your senior year sending your Common Apps to, which is your applications, but it will be a list that you can start everything from. You can make this list as complete as you want. It can be, in our case, my daughter has her list. If a new school pops in that we don't know about, that has her major, then we'll add it to the list after we research it. But for the most part, her list is created, and then we will downsize the list if need be. We did that with my son. We took off a few from his college choices, just which ones match, and we'll get back to that, the matching part, a little bit later, because we're going to go into something so shortly, probably in the next couple weeks. Common data set is what it is, common data set. So today we're going to be talking about your preliminary college list. What does that look like? So I'm going to go from the instance that my daughter knows what she wants to go to school for. So you input your information there, or like I said, if you're undecided, then you can do, just look at a general in-state school list if you know you want to stay in-state, or, a lot of them have a generic type, undecided type track if you want to look at that as well. But she right now would like to follow a pre-dentistry track that leads her into orthodontics. She can always stop at dentistry and just be a dentist, or she can continue to orthodontics, but she's definitely following a pre-dentistry track. So what does that look like? So we sat down a few weeks ago and I had her write down the information. I had her go on and go onto the website for the college and research this information. And I may have her do an example of this another time, just to show you and your kids how to do this. There's not like a set specific type of directions or anything like that. You can find this information pretty much by Googling. You just want to make sure you have the most current information. So what does she have? She had High Point University being first on her list. Why is that one on her list? Because it has a dentistry school and it's local. And she just in general thinks that might be a good fit for her. So we have no idea. It does seem like a good fit now, but when you're starting out, you don't. So we will see how that ends up being on her list if it's a final school, but it's definitely on her list. So what I had her look up was the admit rate. The admit rate is the rate to which the college is accepting admissions, and meaning acceptances, not just who applied. It's based on who applied, how many acceptances we're giving. So they're saying 80% was the admit rate. What's the average GPA? The average GPA for admitted students is 3.39. That's what we have. What is the cost? So important, right? So the cost, you need to write down the tuition, room and board, and any other fees that are involved. But if you're looking at tuition, she may not stay on campus, so we broke it down for each thing. So tuition, we wrote that number down. Housing and food, which is room and board, we wrote that number down, which gave us a grand total. Then we went into to see what the average SAT score is and the average ACT. Not all schools are test required, although if you do want a scholarship, you pretty much want to send in your tests. So when it says test optional, that's only if you want to pay full price for your school. That's how it ends up being. If it's not test optional and they require the test, you want to find which test matches you the best. Which one do you do the best on? And you can start as early as last year. If you're a freshman right now, you could have started that in eighth grade year. So we got the average scores for math, average scores for ACT, and then we went dig a little deeper because we need to find out what courses are required just to apply. So we wrote down what courses she would have to have at graduation just to be able to apply. And I'll get into that a little bit later too, another video series. So then we go on to the number 2 college, then the number 3 college. We also added whether or not they had a dental school or an orthodontic school on the paper. She just handwriting this, I'll show it to you in a second. Whether they were early decision or early action, 2 terms that you may not be familiar with. One says, I'm going to come to your school if you accept me, and no matter what, doesn't matter how much it costs, I'm coming, okay? So the other one is, I want to be considered early, but I do need to know, I'm not excluding all the other schools. I need to know what everybody else is going to offer me as well. So in general, we pick the one that does not commit because, again, it's all about the money for the most part, most of the time. So what does that look like? So it looks like this. This was her preliminary college list. And so she has it written here. She wanted to handwrite it out, so we let her do that. And she enters in all of the information, or she writes down all the information for each school. And right now she is at 11 colleges. So she has 11 colleges on her list. And each one may be slightly different. You'll find the University of North Carolina system will have a lot of the similarities. So, but if it's a private school, it may have a fine arts requirement, which you were not aware of. That's why you need to know about it your freshman year so you can get those requirements in while you're in your 4-year high school plan. So all of this is here. We also designate on there, that admit rate means that I'm likely to have to work harder just to be accepted, right? So that gives us an idea of what we're looking at. We take this information and we put it on a spreadsheet or Pages if you're a Mac user. So we put in all the schools she's looking at. We put in the admit rate, the GPA, the cost. Sometimes it's broken down, sometimes it isn't. If they don't, website doesn't break it down, a lot of times we don't break it down. The average SAT, the average ACT, is it a dental school or is a orthodontic school, or is it early action or early decision? And we just designate it there. So, and then we made a second sheet about the college courses that are required, so we can always compare. And I'll go over that again another time. But we always make sure that that information is readily available. There's a tab in her binder that's called College Research, and that would all fall into that area. We've got the original copy, and we've got the final copy of it, which the final copy is not really the final copy because you're going to mark off some of these schools from your list possibly. So that is so important to start with that research, because if you don't know what they are looking for or what the average admitted student is, you don't even know if you are exceeding the average or below the average, and it gives you a goal to work harder. So it's important to do a college research list. And once I come back on this video later, I will come back and I'll probably talk about the courses. How did we figure out what the course requirements are and things like that. So we'll cover that next time. If you have any questions or you'd like a list of things sent to you, of the things that we're looking for to know if we're a good match. I say we like it's a team, but it is a team. But it's Aubrey, to know if she's a good match, then you would just need to send me a text if you know my number, or you can respond here in the comments and I'll be happy to send what you need to be doing as far as research on specific college lists. So, and then we'll show you later how she applies that and puts it in front of her so she can see it every day, understanding her goals. So we'll talk about that later as well. So there's lots going on. She's in the swing of it. She's definitely ahead of the game, which is great. You don't want to be slow. You don't want to be behind, because you've got high school, right? You're in high school now and you need to be focusing on that. So the more you can do earlier, the better. So I will see you guys later. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.